Hello, everybody. All right, welcome to the Mikestand. Today is Friday, March the 6th, 2026. So hopefully everybody's had a good week this week. Um, First week of March. We're of course gonna give it a sec for the people to come in. Before we get started. Um, Of course, a friendly reminder, of course, if you haven't already, you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream. See if we can get some more friendly people to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and I will try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. Oh yeah, looks like we have a couple people here already. So, I guess I will get into talking about what's on top of the night. Maybe we'll just get right into everything here. As tonight, got a couple articles going to go over from MeTV Tunes, as apparently they're going to be doing something. I think it's next weekend in regards to you know um, cartoons that were nominated for awards back in the 40s. They're calling the special Tinseltown Tunes. So we got a couple articles. One just talking about what they're doing, and then the other one, Jerry Beck giving his commentary on it. And of course, we'll get caught up on all the latest in wrestling news with the wrestling wrap up, and then we'll finish things up with this day in each history. So with that being said, I guess we got three people in here, so I guess I'm just going to go ahead and get started here. Then let me just go grab the articles here. Then again, friendly reminder, if you haven't already, if you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment down or ask questions, and I will try to answer the questions the best of my ability. All right, so I do need to step away from the computer for a quick moment. I'll be right back, but I'll put some music on while I'm gone. So I'll be right. All right. So, anyways, let's get into this first article here. MeTV Tunes is rolling out the red carpet for Tinseltown Tunes. Celebrate nominated shorts and award-winning classic cartoons on Saturday, March 14th, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, and I guess 5 Pacific. So I'm guessing this may have something to do, maybe this will have something to do with, I guess, the Academy Awards coming up or something like that. I'm guessing, but if they're gonna focus on this, then so let's get into this then. Article by MeTV Toon staff published back on March the 3rd, so the other day. I believe it was Tuesday when this article came out. So Tinseltown Tunes, look at that. Kind of trying to give you the feeling of golden age era, cinema and all that with the golden lettering there and all that. Tinseltown Tunes, you know, in honor of Oscar, I guess. It's our favorite season awards. It's our favorite season awards. Um, you have made the VIP list for MeTV Tunes special celebration of Hollywood's highest honors, with nominated shorts and award-winning cartoons, Tinseltown Tunes. Within our vast vault of classic cartoons, we have a selection of highly lauded cartoons from Looney Tunes, MGM, UPA, and Universal. Of course, Looney Tunes from Warner Brothers. Basically, that's like Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, MGM, Tom and Jerry, Droopy, UPA. That'd be like Mr. Magoo. And Universal, that's like Woody Woodpecker, Andy Panda, Chili Willy. We are so excited to share these cartoons with you with this special Saturday night marathon. Let's see. MeTV Tunes is rolling out the red carpet for Tinseltown Tunes on Saturday, March 14th, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 5 Pacific. The nominees are Nighty Night Bugs, winner in 1958, where Bugs is a hapless court jester who sneaks into the villain's castle while Black Knight Sam is snoozing. Quiet Please, winner in 1945. And I just saw this one the other day, or a few weeks ago, I guess. Spike warns Tom not to make any noise, so Jerry tries to. Yeah, that one was where Spike is trying to take a nap, and the annex of Tom and Jerry are sitting there, just keep waking him up. Musical Moments from Chopin, nominated in 1946, a musical miniature cartoon. Saw this one just recently too. Andy and Woody play a flawless Chopin piano concert in a barn, not missing a note even when a horse accidentally sets fire to the barn. A la the infamous Chicago fire of the late 19th century. Magoo's Puddle Jumper, winner in 1956. This is one of the UPA ones that was distributed by Columbia. Magoo buys a used electric car and takes Waldo on an underwater tour. Let's see. For Sentimental Reasons, winner in 1949. Pepe Le Pew walks into a perfume shop to sniff the various perfumes. The shopkeeper recruits a cat to fight him off. Pepe ends up falling in love with the cat when it picks up a white stripe. Yeah, common Pepe theme there, right? Gerald McBoing Boing, winner in 1950. A little boy who can't speak words, only sound effects, finds success as a radio performer. Yeah, Gerald McBoing Boing is a specialist in onomatopoeias. Hmm. Hmm. One Droopy Night, nominated in 1957. Sir Droop-a-Lot and Sir Butch-a-Lot vie with each other to kill a dragon that is terrorizing their kingdom. Whoever vanquishes the dragon will marry the king's daughter. Birds Anonymous, winner in 1957. Sylvester joins Birds Anonymous, a pussycat's equivalent to Alcoholics Anonymous. So basically, the idea of trying to fight off the natural urge to go after birds, I guess, in an attempt to get rid of birds from his diet. Trouble arises when Tweety tempts him. The Legend of Rockabye Point, nominated in 1955. Chili and Charlie the polar bear compete to steal bluefin tuna from a fishing ship guarded by a guard dog. Charlie tries to sing the dog to sleep, but Chili keeps waking him up. I believe Smedley's that dog. Of course, you got Dawes Butler. Even before his time as Yogi Bear there. Speedy Gonzalez, winner in 1985. Hungry Mexican mice are kept out of the cheese factory by Sylvester. Speedy has to try to get cheese for the mice. The dot and line. The dot and the line. Oh, yeah, this is the abstract one, I believe. Winner in 1965. A simple line attempts to woo his true love, a dot, away from the unkempt squiggle she prefers. Yeah, this is kind of an abstract cartoon that Chuck Jones did. Kind of experimenting. Beep Prepared, nominated in 1961. Wile E. Coyote chases the Roadrunner in this cartoon. Walkie Talkie Hockey. This one I saw actually today. Was watching this one. This is one of the cartoons I watched earlier today here. Walkie Talkie Hockey. Nominated in 1946. Henry goes out to fulfill his destiny, hunting chickens. Foghorn Leghorn is fighting with a dog. Fans come to know as Barnyard Dog, and uses the naive Henry against his enemy. Yeah, Bailey telling him that the dog is actually a chicken. It was a funny cartoon too, and the end was pretty funny too. But Cat Concerto, winner in 1946. In this Oscar-winning episode, Tom plays as concert pianist who plays beautifully but keeps getting interrupted when Jerry is inside the piano, making Tom hit the wrong keys. Yeah, because he's trying to basically smash Jerry while still trying to play a concert. Good luck with that, Tommy boy. Let's see now. When Magoo Flew, winner in 1954. Magoo mistakes an airplane trip for a 3D movie. From A to Z. Nominated in 1953. Another episode with Rob Phillips and all his daydreaming fantasies. He fights math problems on the chalkboard, becomes part of the Pony Express, escaping Indians, and flies like a bird. The Dizzy Acrobat, nominated in 1943. Woody tries to sneak into the circus. Tweety Pie, winner in 1947. When Tweety is brought in from the cold, Fiona warns Sylvester to leave him alone. A Wild Hare, nominated in 1940. While hunting rabbits, or as he likes to call them, wabbits, Elmer Fudd comes across Bugs Bunny, who tricks and harasses the hunter. Oh, there we go. So those are the cartoons you have to look forward to. I'm guessing they're going to do this as part of their usual. I don't know if this is just going to be 1 hour or 3 hours. I don't know if that's just simply a. Could be 2 hours because usually on Saturday nights at this time, that's usually when they have their the Bugs Bunny show. So Bugs Bunny and Friends. So let's get ready to do the other story we're gonna do today. Oh, actually, there's even a third one. So looks like we have a third one that was added on as well. So got one more story that was so originally we're gonna start with 2, but now we're gonna do 3 here. All right, so let's get into the second article here. Initially, this was going to be the last article too, but as it turns out, they added another one, you know, sometime this afternoon. So, Jerry Beck's notable nominees from Tinseltown Tunes. Now, Jerry Beck, for those of you who don't know, is a pretty well-known cartoon historian, animation historian. He was actually a contributing producer to the Tune In With Me program that originally started on Turner Network and now, of course, airs on MeTV Tunes. Cartoon historian Jerry Beck talks about 5 fascinating cartoons from Tinseltown Tunes. Article published earlier today by MeTV Tunes staff. That actually right there, I think, is Gerald McBoing Boing right there, based on the animation. We are so excited about the arrival of Tinseltown Tunes that we called in our favorite expert, Jerry Beck, to talk about 5 award-winning nominated cartoons for you. Beck is a writer, animation producer, college professor, and author of more than 15 books on animation. He is also the editor of Cartoon Research and MeTV Tunes' favorite cartoon historian. Here are Beck's thoughts on a fascinating 5 of the cartoons we will be showing in our Tinseltown Tunes marathon. Tune in March 14th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. Take it away, Jerry. Number 1, Gerald McBoing Boing, 1950. There's Gerald McBoing Boing right there. UPA's Oscar-winning breakthrough film with a story by Dr. Seuss was a game changer. It's a story of a little boy who speaks via sound effects. In parentheses here, the original concept was designed for a children's record. Parentheses there. Of course, this voice basically speaks in onomatopoeias, basically, is what they're basically getting at. With modern art inspired design that broke the Disney mold for what a cartoon, heck, what an animated film could look like. This inspired artists around the world to try animation. Now that the notion that it had to look like Disney, or Bugs Bunny or Tom and Jerry, was dispelled. UPA's design sense worked its way into all cartoons of the decades, including Disney's, as well as TV commercials and the burgeoning TV cartoons of the late 1950s. The first McBoing Boing film is delightful as it is, but its influence is deep and long-lasting. Number 2, The Dot and the Line, 1965. This is one of the ones I was telling you guys about earlier. I believe this was a Chuck Jones cartoon. And again, friendly reminder, if you haven't already, you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people to engage. It'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. All right, so The Dot and the Line, 1965. An adaptation of a clever picture book, in parentheses, by Norton Juster, in parentheses. The film explores a romantic relationship between 2 geometric shapes, a quote-unquote dot and a quote-unquote line. This simple little premise It's so beautifully executed, in parentheses, and narrated perfectly by actor Robert Morley, on parentheses. It earned Jones an Academy Award, but more significantly, the short shows that getting emotion and humor out of two essentially faceless outlines is achievable and worthwhile. Um, and that experimental animation can be very entertaining. Witty dialogue, gorgeous art direction, and by co-director Maurice Noble, who would of course go on to work for Hanna-Barbera on a number of series, in parentheses there, and a tasteful score, in parentheses, by Eugene Podney, complete the package. All right, number 3, When Magoo Flew, 1954. Mr. Magoo, of course, voiced by the late, great Jim Backus, who also was Thurston Howell III in Gilligan's Island as well. The second UPA cartoon to win an Academy Award, and the first of two Mr. Magoos to achieve this Oscar status. The Magoo cartoons were the most popular movie theater cartoons of the 1950s, and among the funniest made in that decade. The premise of the series is simple. Headstrong and nearsighted Magoo goes out into the world thinking he is in one place, but we, the audience, can see he is somewhere completely else. In this case, Magoo thinks he's going to the movies, but he ends up on an airplane. The film also takes a jab at the present day movie going. Magoo thinks the film he's quote unquote watching is in 3D and widescreen cinescope. In parentheses here, note, in fact, this cartoon was shot in the widescreen format, presented on MeTV Tunes in the appropriate letterbox format. Unparentheses. Magoo even takes a jab at a newfangled fad of quote-unquote television and foils a bank embezzler. He even wonders if this quote-unquote theater runs cartoons, especially the ones with that nearsighted little fellow. So a little self-promotion there. Let me see. Actually, I'm going to need to go off camera for a quick moment. I'll be right back. Just gotta take care of some lighting issues here. As now we're starting to get dim here. So I'll put the music on. I'll be. All right, I'm back. So let's get back to let's of course get back to the article here. Again, feel free to comment or ask questions if anything here grabs your attention. Also, if you haven't already, you guys can help out by liking and sharing the screen, see if we can get some more friendly people to engage. That'd be appreciated. Anyways, let's get back to the article here. All right. Number 4, from A to Z. 1953. The first of several Chuck Jones cartoons featuring Ralph Phillips, voiced by Dick Beals. Dick Beals, of course, would become a pretty well-known voice actor throughout the 50s and 60s. He actually did some of the younger characters for some of the Hanna-Barbera superhero cartoons of the late 60s. I also believe he was Arthur Spacely in the Jetsons, the son of Cosmo Spacely. Also, of course, was Dino Boy in Space Ghost and Dino Boy. He was the kid in, I believe he was the kid in Frankenstein Jr. and the Impossibles. Anyways, a little boy forever in a daydream. Jones' one-shot cartoons during the 50s are brilliant little films, and the fact he pumped these out in between his hilarious Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, and Roadrunner shorts as part of his annual quota is simply miraculous. The success of the stylized UPA cartoons of the era, Jones allowed Jones to now be artistically unleashed. The direction, the thing, the poses, the facial expressions, the striking layouts by Maurice Noble. The man was a true master of his craft, somewhat inspired by James Thurber's Secret Life of Walter Mitty, quote unquote. I got that feeling from the Ralph Phillips cartoons. The cartoon takes place in a classroom, but takes the audience underwater, into a boxing ring out west, and into a wonderfully surreal battle with numbers on a blackboard. A great example of everything a cartoon should be. And number 5, The Legend of Rockabye Point. Tex Avery never won an Oscar, but he should have. Nominated 6 times, and further twice at Warner Brothers, twice during his time at MGM, and twice for Walter Lantz in the 1950s. This is the final nominee. This is his final nominee, and the only shot for Chilly Willy, the deadpan penguin that Avery developed into a cartoon superstar. This is a variation on a theme Avery tried at MGM in cartoons like Rockabye Bear and Deputy Droopy. A little guy trying to get something in silence from a hulking rival or sleeping guard. Chuck Jones' storyman, Michael Maltese, wrote the gags. Voices here are all by Dallas McKinnon, an underrated vocal talent that the Lantz studio utilized in dozens of cartoons. Avery mixes it all together into one of the funniest cartoons ever nominated. Alrighty, so as I said, there is one more story that they just added since I made the did this earlier today. June Foray created the Annie Awards to honor Max Fleischer. Yeah, I think we might have covered this one before, but I think it'd be good to still go over it again. How one of the greatest voice actresses created an award show. In 1972, the animation industry was a cornerstone of Hollywood, but it did not have its own awards ceremony. At the time, most of the major award shows had animation categories for short films, feature length films, and children's television. But the animation genre is far more than just a category, but a whole industry in and of itself. June Foray, the Meryl Streep of voice acting, felt that it was high time that the people who worked in cartoons got their own awards show. What inspired her? The death of her friend and colleague Max Fleischer, of course, of Fleischer Studios, um, who of course gave us such classics as Popeye, Betty Boop, um, Popeye and Betty Boop, among others. Foray recalled, quote, "Everyone else has awards. Animation doesn't. Max Fleischer had just died, and of course, he was such a founder of animation, creating Betty Boop and Olive Oil and Popeye and so forth. And he invented rotoscoping. And so I thought it was a splendid idea to honor him and Dave Fleischer, the Fleischer brothers." Hmm. Freshly inspired, she went to the president of ASIFA Hollywood, a branch of the International Animated Film Association, um, and asked for permission to organize an award ceremony by cartoon people for cartoon people. Once permission was granted, Foray found the location and a host, but the award ceremony still needed a name. Quote, "My husband said," unquote, Foley recalled, quote, "as long as it's an animation award, why not call it Annie," unquote. Thus, the Annies were born. But as things fell into place, Foray became anxious. What if no one showed up? Then suddenly, over 400 RSVPs came in, and what started as a tribute to a friend had now grown into a big industry event. The first Annie Awards were covered on television and quickly became the go-to animation event of that year. The second Annie Awards honoree was Walter Lantz, creator of Woody Woodpecker, and he was the first to be given a real trophy. The Annie Awards trophy is a brass model of a zoetrope, one of the earliest animation devices. Committed to the bit, Foray made sure that the award rotated like a real zoetrope, which led to a humorous blunder. Quote, "I think Walter Lantz dropped his. The top came off and broke," unquote. Foray recalled, quote, "A lot of people weren't aware, and we should have warned them that the rotating part of the zoetrope was removable. So they carried it off stage and wham." Unquote. To this day, the Annies are a yearly event. Since its founding, the Annie Awards have given out prizes for 37 categories, including the Winsor McKay Award for lifetime contributions to the art of animation, the Iwerks Award for technical advancements to animation, and the June Foray Award for those who have made significant and benevolent or charitable impact on the animation industry. I think we'll make good time there. So watch Cartoon All Stars on MeTV Tunes weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central, 7 Pacific. Saturdays at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central, and 7 Pacific. So, anyway, I don't know why they just don't say Monday through Saturday. Because that's pretty much what it is. Alrighty then, so there we go. Oh, that's always, well, unless I guess there's another story that popped up, which didn't, no, it didn't. So, alrighty then, so we're done with the articles for tonight. So now we're going to move on to the wrestling wrap up. Of course, look back to last night's Impact and Ring of Honor shows. Look ahead to tonight's SmackDown and tomorrow night's, as well as tomorrow night's Vengeance Day premium live event from WWE's NXT brand, and tomorrow night's Collision as it's with 1 week to go before Revolution, as it were. Also, we do have some other big news that came out in the last couple of days. So, Brian James, aka Road Dogg, left his position as SmackDown lead. Basically, he left the job of being part of the creative team for WWE in the last couple of days, after basically just being burned out from all the criticism. I believe this was not something that WWE was pushing him out the door, even though fans had been complaining about his style, his creative style, and his storytelling and all that. But this was all. But this is his choice. He's still under a Legends contract, which means that he'll still be making appearances for WWE. You won't be seeing him. There was some speculation that maybe he'll show up in AEW, since, of course, one of his other best friends, Billy Gunn, is there and has in the company. But some people said that there might be somewhat of a falling out that happened between Road Dogg and Triple H, as Road Dogg felt betrayed by Triple H. That Triple H ended up demoting him from his position as SmackDown lead writer recently, due to some of the falling rates of SmackDown. So that's the big news coming out of the WWE. So now let's go ahead and look back to last night's. First off, we'll look back to last night's wrestling events. First off, look at what happened on last night's Impact which came from the Gateway Center Arena in College Park, with Matthew Rainwalt and Tom Hannafan on commentary, airing on AMC. Of course, Gateway Center Arena at College Park in College Park, Georgia. The opening match saw a match for the TNA Knockout World title, which Ariana Grace retained over, the NXT's Ariana Grace, Jenny Lorenzo in a corner, retained over Jody Threat in a number one contendership 4-way match to see who would next challenge the Hardy Boys for the TNA World Tag Team titles. The System's Bear Bronson and Brian Myers defeated the teams of BDE and Rich Swann, Sinner and St. Judas Icarus and Travis Williams, and the Righteous Duke and Vincent. Elena Black defeated Mara Sade in 7 minutes 22 seconds. The main event saw Leon Slater retain the TNA X Division title over Nick Nemeth in 12 minutes even. So that's all that went down on Thursday Night Impact. So now let's go ahead and talk about what happened on Ring of Honor's Honor Club from last night. Ring of Honor Club, which took place in the WJCT studios in Jacksonville, Florida, with Caprice Coleman and Ian Riccaboni on commentary. Opening match saw in women's action Persephone defeat Sarah Leone in just over 5.5 minutes. Former Ring of Honor World Television Champion Commander defeated Sydney Hakim in just under 6 minutes. The team of Top Flight of Dante and Darius Martin with Christopher Daniels and Zeta Steele in their corner defeated the team of the Grizzled Young Veterans of James Drake and Zach Gibson, who had Isla Dawn in their corner. The team now calling themselves Paid in Full of Big Bill and Brian Keith defeated the team of Darian Bengston and Kieran Gray in 2 minutes 47 seconds. In a Pure Rules match, former Pure Rules champion Josh Woods defeated Nathan Cruz in 4 minutes 23 seconds. And then in tag team action, Tommy Billington and Adam Priest defeated the team of the Work. Tommy Billington, that's the nephew of the original Dynamite Kid, Tom Billington, defeated the Workhorsemen, J.D. Drake and Anthony Henry. And more women's action, Mina Shirakawa defeated Zeta Steele, who had Christopher Daniels in her corner. And then in tag team action, the Bang Bang Gang of Juice Robinson and Austin Gunn defeated the team of the M&M collection of Mansoor and Mason Madden. Lacey Lane, the former Kid and Carden from the WWE, defeated Robin Renegade in 5 minutes 17 seconds. In a four-leaf clover, four-corner survival elimination match, I believe in which a possible title shot may have been on the line. I don't see anything here, though. But A.R. Fox defeated Lee Johnson, Matt Menard, and Shane Taylor in 13 minutes 34 seconds altogether, with A.R. Fox eliminating Shane Taylor and Lee Johnson after, of course, Shane Taylor had eliminated Matt. And then in the main event, Kazuchi Okada successfully defended the AEW International title against A.R. Fox in 5 minutes 43 seconds. So that's all that happened on last night's action. Now to look ahead to this upcoming weekend. As of course, we'll first be looking at what's going to be going down on tonight's let's see. And I guess I can go over the main event results. So coming from the Gamebridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana, last night on YouTube, Blake Howard and Big Joseph on commentary. Axiom, with Nathan Frazier in his corner, defeated Apollo Crews in 6 minutes 28 seconds, and then Carmen Petrovich defeated Ivy Nile in 6 minutes 3 seconds. So that was on last night's main event. Now we'll move on to tonight's SmackDown. On tonight's Friday Night SmackDown, coming from the Moda Center in Portland, Oregon, on the USA Network, For Drew McIntyre will be defending the undisputed WWE title against Cody Rhodes. That match is set for tonight, so we'll see then what'll be happening there. And of course, now with that, let's lead into what'll be happening tomorrow night in Orlando, Florida, from the WWE Performance Center. As tomorrow night, WWE will be hosting the NXT Vengeance Day Premium Live Event 2026 tomorrow night from the Performance Center. As already signed for the night, Tony D'Angelo, seeking to gain some revenge against members of Dark State, will be taking on Dion Lennox in one-on-one action. In an underground match, Lola Vice will be taking on Kalani Jordan. In a match for the NXT Women's North American title, Izzy Dame of The Calling will be defending the title. Former tag partner Tatum Paxley. And I did skip over one. Blake Monroe and Jada Parker will be taking each other on a street fight. In the main event, we'll see Joe Hendry defending the NXT title against Ricky Saints. There's also some rumor going out there that they might be considering calling Ethan Page up to the main roster, the Raw, particularly in part due to some of the strings of injuries happening to the Vision faction. So stay tuned for more news on that. So now with that, of course, let's take a look at some other stuff going on tomorrow night, as AAA down in Mexico, from the Show Center complex in Monterrey, Nuevo Leon, Mexico, airing on Fox Latin America. Tomorrow night's AAA action. We'll see in a Rey de Reyes 2026 qualifying four-way match. WWE's Santos Escobar will be taking on Psycho Clown, as well as Abismo Negro Jr. and Mr. Iguana to secure a spot in the Rey de Reyes tournament. In a match for the AAA Reina de Reinas title, Flammer defends against Susie Love. And in six-man tag action, or as they call it down in Mexico, trios action, Charlie Dempsey teams with Nathan Frazier and Tristan Angels to take on Axiom, Dorian Van Duk, and WWE Speed Champion Elio LaFleur. So that's all that's going down on AAA tomorrow night. AAA, and also I'm gonna find a way to get to it here. AEW, of course, will be doing its Collision show tomorrow night. So as soon as I can grab all that. $29 minutes. So on tomorrow night's Collision, airing on TNT from the Tucson Arena in Tucson, Arizona, Claudio in a non-title match, Claudio Castagnoli will be taking on Konosuke Takeshita. Also, Gravity makes his in-ring returns. He'll be taking on Swerve Strickland after an extended absence. in a $200,000 four-way tag team match. Private Party of Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn set to take on the Outrunners, Turbo Floyd, and Truth Magnum. Also, they'll be taking on the Swirl duo of Blake Christian and Lee Johnson. And they'll taking on the Los Facción Ingobernables duo of Delisco and Rush, making their in-ring return after being out for some time. And then in a match in the main event, in a match for the AEW World Tag Team titles, the FTR of Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler will be taking on the Rascals duo of Desmond and Xavier and Zachary Wentz. So that's all we got for the wrestling wrap-up for you guys tonight. So now, with that being said, today is Friday. March the 6th, 2026. So let's take a look back at this day in Niche history. History! So 2002, 1986, and 1996. All right, so first off, we're going to head back. Actually, first off, before anything, I'm going to wish a happy 40th birthday to actor and voice actor Eli Marienthal. Eli Marienthal turned 40 today. Eli Marienthal, of course, known for voicing Hogarth Hughes in The Iron Giant, as well as portraying Tim Drake Robin in Batman Mystery of the Batwoman and the Static Shock episode The Big Leagues. He also provided the voice of Dak in the Batman Beyond episode Where's Terry? And Derek Mina in the Fillmore episode Two Wheels, Full Throttle, No Brakes. So happy 40th birthday to American actor Eli Marienthal. Now, as we move on here, moving on to the year 1996, 30 years ago today, on this date, 30 years ago today in 1996, the following OVAs of, My Dear Marie from Studio Pero, and let's find it here. Starship Girl Yamamoto Yoko from JC Staff. Both were released on this date back in 1996. So 30 years ago today, Pierrot's My Dear Marie and JC Staff's Starship Girl Yamamoto Yoko were both premiered on this date back in 1996, 30 years ago today. And finally, moving ahead to the year 2002, on this date in the year 2002, 24 years ago today, on this date 24 years ago today, the 110th issue of Betty from Archie Comics went on sale on this date in the year 2002. It sold for $1.99 with 32 pages. Such stories including Practice Makes Perfect, The Right Move, Going to the Dogs, and Quite a Bargain. All right, so with that being said, I thank everybody for being here tonight. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Some interesting cartoon news we went over. With Me TV Tunes doing their Tinseltown Tunes special coming up next Saturday, I think in lieu of the Academy Awards. Also, we'll be back here on Sunday. I'll be joined by the Metal from Vomitorium, as we'll be taking another trip down Comics History Lane. We'll be looking back at books that went on sale in August 1940. This week, focusing in on books that went on sale from Harvey Comics. Be reading from Champ Comics number 11, and such features as The Champ, Neptina, Queen of the Deep, Liberty Lads. I think there's one other that I just can't remember off the top of my head. Actually, it's the last appearance of the other one, of that last one too. So, let's see what else. So of course we'll be back here on Sunday with that. We'll be back on Monday with more Niche news. So I hope everybody's has you know all right. So yes, but anyway, some interesting stuff to look forward to over the next couple weeks here. Oh, that reminds me too. I'm trying to think, there was one more thing that I needed to remind everybody, and I'm sure. Well, nowadays because basically clocks are just embedded into everything anyway. Not like we have to really do anything. Most of our devices will do it automatically, but this Sunday, of course, is the start of daylight savings time. So just remember, everybody, we're going to lose an hour of sleep that night, and we'll be springing ahead. We'll be springing ahead forward an hour. So coming around 2 a.m. With that. So don't forget, daylight savings time is this Sunday morning at 2 a.m. So we'll basically be losing an hour of sleep. And it's going to be good because I'm kind of glad for daylight savings time, because that means that I won't have to worry about stopping in the middle of a show. I won't have to worry about either turning the light on at the beginning of the show, or having to turn it on during the show, because it'll be pretty bright sun coming through for the whole show. So with all that being said, I thank everybody for being here, and I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow or Sunday. Bye.